Hello, Culture Matters podcast. We're back again with another culture content. This is exciting. Before I introduce our topic, here's a quote just for this episode. Carl Rogers, a key figure. Well, this isn't a quote, it's more of a statement. Shit. I want to say a quote. Life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. That's the quote. Life is not a problem to be solved. Yes, it's perfect for this episode because I know what I want to talk about. It's not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. Here's a statement I want to share on the topic, which is three ways to build unbreakable relationships with customers and teams. So, three ways to build unbreakable relationships with customers and teams. Customers and teams, those are two different contexts. Customers and teams. Yes, two different contexts that can confuse people in many different ways. But here's something I want to share. Carl Rogers, a key figure in humanistic psychology, emphasized the importance of genuine interest and acceptance in relationships as crucial for personal growth and self-actualization, forming the foundation of his person-centered approach to therapy. So this genuine interest that aligns with the first um, way to build unbreakable relationships. Well, first of all, relationships won't be unbreakable. Relationships should should break. They should break down in multiple contexts. Not only in the sense of learning, which is unlearning and relearning, unlearning, unlearning, learn, unlearning, relearning, unlearning, unlearning. On an individual level, they need to break down. In a group level, they're going to break, and you don't want to hold people captive to where they can never, it's almost like that's not humane. There's a totalitarian ethic or an over attachment but unbreakable, I guess, in the sense, there are ways to build unbreakable relationships in the sense that there is trust, there's mutual respect, there's alignment of values, there's clarity around vision. And although maybe the content differs, we have different opinions of how we want to live our lives, or different degrees of education, or understanding, different apertures by which we see the world and conceive the world. We can still talk about the world and work together, and which that's why the context of customers is different than teams, because the team is like we're working towards a goal together. Customer, we're serving and working to fulfill a service or a product, a deliverable, so that the customer comes closer to their aims and desires, which we're not participating in them with that, but we are contributing to that. And so that's a different relationship. But where I'm going with this is the number one is to have unbreakable relationships, period, is to be interested, intention. Like if I draw a pyramid. If there's a pyramid, the base is interest. It's that lean in idea. If you listen to the Culture Matters podcast, you are experiencing with me a decision and a series of decisions that I've made to be interested, to prepare, to follow curiosity, to learn, to to meditate through my perception of who the guest is from that preparation, what they care about, what they don't, what they know, what they don't, who they are, who they're not, why they did this and why they didn't, and going through the culture map, which, autobiographically, event driven, go actually doing the map, where were they born, in what year, what was happening in the world, where did they go to school, um, what did they study, how long, in what years, where was their first job, what did they do, how long were there, were they promoted, how did they leave, what size company, um, private, public, What did it do? What was its purpose? When was it founded? Who started it? How many, where did they go after that? How many different jobs? How long? What was the tenure? Who did they work for? Why did they probably do that? Were they in the same profession? Did that change? S- um, what size company? Like, what's the path of the types of companies? Meaning, like, is it a small company there 5 years, went to big company there 7 months, back to small company for 10 years? Like, what does all that say, or what could it infer? Is education in the future? How old are they? How old were they when this event happened or that event happened? Like, look, following curiosity. You have to have an interest. I have to be or discipline. Can you fake that? That's a question, right? Probably not well, unless you're super gifted, maybe, and you could fake that. Sure, but like gifted people can do a lot of things. So that's not really fair to talk about. So the pyramid at the bottom, 3 ways to build unbreakable relationships with customers and teams. Now, those are two different contexts. I think that I could split this into two different videos, but let's just say people. 3 ways to build unbreakable relationships with people. Interest is the foundation. Then it's time and space. Time and space. Space. How often have we met in person? In what context or circumstance? For how long? How often do we meet? What does that say or not say about our relationship? What are the things we experience when we do meet? Physical space matters with culture. Culture matters with relationships. So it's interest is the foundation. Then it's space. Then you also have time. How long have you met? How long do you meet when you do meet? What's the narrative? What's the hero's journey within that meeting? And I'm getting into the next level, which is questions and truth. And truth is, what actually happens. So what's the quality of the experience of being in person? And there's Jesse Itzer in one of his new books. No, it was an interview with Tom Billy. He said, I thought about, oh, I don't have 10 years left with a parent. I only see my parent, this many times per year. So I have 16 more times I'm going to see my parent in the rest of their life. When you think about that, it changes the way you look at that interaction. Wow, what a wonderful thought experiment. How many times are you going to see your parent? How many times, uh, based on how many times you normally see your parent in a year, how many years they're likely to live based on statistics? Or let's, add another 40%. Oh, they're going to live forever. No, they're not, but they're going to live, let's say, 40% longer than you think. So if statistically it's 10 years, they have 14 more years left. You see them twice a year. That's 28 more meetings. How long do you meet them for? Oh, usually we talk for 20 minutes. So, uh, what did I just say? I said 28. Yeah. And it's not 28 hours. It's 28 divided by 3, which is 9.33. So you have 9 hours and 33% which is basically 9 hours and 20 minutes, I think, is 27. And then 20 goes into 63, 33, 33%. So you have fucking 9 hours and 33 and 20 minutes left to experience your parent. If you see them for 20 minutes, 28 times, twice a year over the next 14 years. Because 28 divided by 3 is 9.33, which is 9 hours, right? Because 9 times 3 is 27 hours, 28 hours. What am I missing here? Is this correct? No, 20. I'm doubting my ability to do that in my head. That's insecurity. That's not math. Personality. Is this on the list? So yeah, I'm right. I'm just like, now it's live. I'm like, oh my God, who's judging me? In a sense, this is actually a way to build an unbreakable relationship. Well, this is a way to build a false relationship with you because we're not actually, whatever I am to you is a projection of who you want to be and who you think you are and who you're not that you think you are and who you want to be that you might already be, and you're giving me too much influence. I hope you're not doing that too much because then it's gonna hurt you and you don't want to meet me. Then I just won't live up to your expectation. So it's not a real relationship. It's more like mental masturbation. Like, I'm not even a real person. I'm just an avatar of your dreams, your desires, your goals that unachieved and unactualized. I'm just fodder. Just use me as a palette to discover your goals. Use this to make your actual relationships where you spend time with people in life. I'm still trying to figure out if I had that wrong. It's crazy. But no, I'm right. If it's twice a year, 10 years, add 40% is 14 years, twice a year. They have 28 meetings. You normally meet for 20 minutes. 28 divided by 3 is 9.33 because it goes in 9 times. 7, yep. And that is, but if you only meet for 20 minutes, no, I'm right. God, I'm so insecure. It's ridiculous. So, okay, back to the triangle. We have interest, we have time and space and time. So how often do you meet and for how long and how many times will you meet? And then what's the quality of the meeting? What's the quality of your questions and the quality of your truth? How honest are you with this relationship? And how much honesty can they handle? And how much of them can you handle in relation to your embodiment of truth? Like, man, because then you have subjective conflict in relationships. Like, can we really share who we are, what we think and who we are? And that's why people, can outgrow others. That you share, and that's where morality comes in, because people might treat you in a way you don't want to be treated when you are honest and you do take interest. So that's the third level, the quality of the actual interaction. And then the highest level I wrote here, and this is just a bunch of thought experiments, is crisis. Crisis experience. We have to go through, if we grow through shit together with the people in our lives, we'll attach meaning to, we'll attach meaning. We'll attach meaning. And my proof in that is, or an anecdotal inference would be, the friends you grew up with, even if you don't talk to them anymore, there's still that novelty, or novelty, no, there's still that reminiscence of the past. You know, you were a kid and you went through things, and like there, those relationships are embedded in the good and bad is embedded in your brain. It's embedded in your brain forever. It's embedded in your brain forever. Wow. And so be interested in the people, in the relationships, your customers, your team. Spend time with them, be with them in person. I mean, I've left so much out of this because I wrote, the quality of questions and quality of truth, but it's also silence and spending time and not or doing things like that's where games come in and sports and people drink and do all sorts of things so they could just be with people and not feel and be awkward and whatever, that's if that's for you, that's for you. It's something I'm deeply weak on, and I'm not certain that I don't want to work on it, which either means I really need to or um I need some other help. But experiences, going through things. So that's my 3 ways. Well, that's more than 3 ways. Actually, I didn't even say 3 ways. Well, I guess I did say 3 ways. I said 4 ways, but I actually really only said one, which was like be interested, and then I built the pyramid on top of that, and then got caught up with like if you have 14 years with a parent and you only see them twice and you see them twice a year for 20 minutes, like how much time do you actually have with them in your life? It's like, wow. How much time with a person does it actually take to build a relationship? Well, the CIA could probably build a relationship with somebody very quickly, but it's not a real relate. That's where authenticity comes in. Shit, man, that is another podcast. That I'm gonna have to go deeper in this conversation. Something you have to look at is like how long is the average tenure of your relationships? And what, are you able to even keep long-term relationships? And what does that mean or show about you? But share this with somebody that gives a shit about unbreakable relationships with, I didn't even talk about customers and teams. They're different relationships and there's different, it's a different context, but it doesn't mean you can't be intentional, be interested, ask great questions, tell the truth, spend time, invest in time, be proactive, and have the courage and the responsibility to weather hard times with people. And you'll see you'll have a meaningful relationship with them. Share this with somebody that needs to hear it.